What's up, guys? Jeremy Lou Photography. Thank you so much for coming back. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like this channel, do the stuff. This is not supposed to be backwards. We are talking today about video 2 of How to Book a Wedding series. So the first one we've already done and posted. The second one's up right now. So this is step 2. So if you remember in the first video, the step 1 is how to generate your leads, what you do with those leads, and how it all kind of works together in order to get these people in. So recap from the last video, once you get your leads, your job from then is to take these leads, whether you get 2, 10, 20, 40 a week, send them out an email with a questionnaire built in, something that kind of tells them about your pricing, what you do, what you offer, and you then, based off of the leads and the questionnaire, whoever fills out the questionnaire takes it to the next step. This is going to be that next step. And what I mean by that is people are sometimes just price checking. So sometimes you'll get 10 emails a week asking you about wedding dates. Instead of you investing your time into meeting with all 10 people, you need to pre-qualify them before you can meet with them. So by pre-qualifying, first they need to understand your rates, and that should be in an email that you send. You need to get information to make sure that you're available, that you're the type of photographer they want, whether you ask them, hey, on a scale from 1 to 10, is Jeremy Lou Photography something you're looking for? Something like that. You never want to go into a meeting blind, and you never want to go into a meeting not sure if they can even afford you, which is always a key, right? So this video is you've already done your, they've responded to they've responded to your pricing, they responded to your questionnaire. So now you know that they know your prices. I know you know that, I know that you know that they know your prices, that you're available for their day, they're excited to meet you, and most likely if you can answer all the right questions and your personalities mesh, they're gonna book you. So this is the meeting that you're gonna set up for them, and this is what's happening. So I do about half my meetings either at the studio or at a Starbucks somewhere. I prefer the studio, or on the phone, because I do book a lot of out of town and I do a lot of destination weddings. So instead of showing you one way, I'm gonna show you kind of what to talk about and how you set it up is both ways. Before you set this up, make sure that you set up a date and time for this. So I send an email back and say, thank you so much for filling my questionnaire. I'm so excited to be able to talk to you about this. Set up a date and time. So if it's the phone, make sure you set up a date and time, put it in your calendar, lock yourself in your office or wherever, and get yourself comfortable to talk on speakerphone, right? So be able to talk, to move, send them everything you need to send them online, but just, like you're having a conversation. FaceTime and Skype is amazing. FaceTime is amazing. Setting up your phone just to be able to sit here on a tripod and kind of talk to them. Or if you have a studio is always better than a Starbucks. The reasoning is, or a coffee shop, is that if you go to your local Starbucks, your local coffee shop within your area, and you're trying to do a presentation or just talk to them, you're gonna get somebody that knows you. You're gonna get somebody that comes up to you and says hi and interrupts you throughout the day, which is fine. They have no idea what you're doing, but it'll mess up the flow of what you're actually trying to do, and it'll take it away. Also, if something does happen, it'll take the eye away from you when your potential bride and groom are talking to you, okay? So the more private, the better. If you have a studio space and a viewing room and a meeting room, do it there. If you can't set up your own space, what I always recommend is having refreshments, coffee, stuff for them, water, snacks, just overload them with kind of stuff. That way there's something for them to snack on, hang out with. If you can, if they have kids, ask them to not bring their kids in an email. Say, we're just going to chat and talk. If they have to bring their kids, just be prepared for something for the kids. But kids are the most distracting thing ever. I have 3. I know how it is. And sometimes people have to bring it, which is totally fine. Just be able to work around it. So also what I do when I get to see them in any sort of person is I always play a little slideshow in the back. In the studio, I have a TV behind me or on the wall. I mean, it depends where I sit. And I have a slideshow playing of the latest wedding that I shot from beginning to end, just on a slideshow, no volume or anything, to let them kind of go through and see a wedding that I've shot from beginning to end, something I actually delivered to my clients. If they're at a Starbucks and I bring my iPad and stream the same thing, if they're Skyping on the phone with me, I don't do that at all. because it's just not happening. It's more to talk. Before we get into this, what I do want you to remember is that your clients are already in love with your work. They're meeting with you because they like your work, right? They filled out the questionnaire because they like your pricing and they like your work. Now they're trying to figure out if they like you. So when you go into these meetings to book your clients, I don't want you to think about pricing. I don't want you to think about rates. I want you to think about you're investing your time into meeting them. They're investing their time into meeting you. And so ultimately the price doesn't really matter within a point, right? So I want to emphasize this because a lot of photographers that I meet with are so worried about charging the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 pricing for their weddings because they feel it's too high. If you put out a $3,000 price sheet and they come back and talk to you about it, they're gonna pay that rate. So don't worry about the pricing anymore. You're kind of done with that pricing. So take the time and just get to know them. They're gonna hire you based on your personality alone. If I go against a photographer with amazing work, I have amazing work, another amazing work, I want to book this based off personality. Think about it. You hire a photographer for your wedding, they're there for the entire day. If you can't get along with that photographer at a meeting, why would they want you for the entire day? Does that make sense? Yes. So that's where you're going into it. I want you to go into each meeting, the first meeting that you do, as you've already booked them, and now we're just being friends and we're just talking. We're gonna see if we mesh well. I have about a 90% booking rate. Sometimes I don't book people, so it just doesn't happen. Sometimes maybe the pricing was off and they didn't realize it, or they changed the date and I wasn't available. Whatever happens, it happens. But 90% is pretty good. What I don't want is to have 10 meetings a week and only book 1 or 2 because I didn't pre-qualify them. Now to get into the nitty-gritty, I'm trying to make this video under 10 minutes. I have 3 minutes to do this. Wherever you are, the first thing I want you to do and focus on the whole time is smiling. Even on the phone. People can tell if you're smiling or not over the phone. And of course, if they see you in person, they can tell if you smile. People want happy people. Be happy. Talk about yourself. Don't talk about anything negative. Just be happy. The first thing I do when I meet with clients and I'm sitting there talking to them is I always just ask them to tell me about their wedding. Like, tell me about anything. Tell me about you guys. Just talk. People love the sound of their own voice. People love the sound of their own name. So if you let them talk about them, it gives them a sense of importance, which it should be. It's about their day. What I've noticed is a lot of photographers will get into a meeting and just start talking about how amazing they are, their awards that they've won, the styles that they shoot, the prices they charge, how they're better than this other photographer. Nobody cares. Your bride and groom have no idea. They don't know about awards. They could care less about your awards. They want to know who you are as a person, who they're inviting to their wedding. Smile. Be a cool person. Be cool. Be happy. Get to know these people. It's like you're on a first date with these people, but ultimately, if you care about your clients, this will be easy for you. Ask them, how did they meet? When did they get engaged? How did he propose? How long have they been together? Do they have a family? Do they have kids? Where are they from? Blah, blah, whatever. Ask them about it. What have they booked for their wedding? Tell us about the other vendors. What are they looking for in their wedding? Ask them a question and let them talk. This should take about 15 or 20 minutes for them to talk. You guys are having coffee, you're having soda, whatever you're having, snacks, having a good time, talking, chatting. I will have coffee even if I'm Skyping. I will have something in front of me just to kind of hang out, but I'm staring at the phone the whole time. Kind of what I'm doing right now. This is as far as I can go. So, shit, I forgot this. That's not backwards, right? Cool. First thing is smile. Always smile, be happy, be a cool dude, okay? The next thing, after you're kind of doing the initial chit chat, is to connect. You may have already found something to connect with before this meeting. But what I mean is I have stuff on the questionnaire, I have stuff on the emails that maybe kind of interest you. Maybe they're referred from another wedding that you shot and they saw you there. Maybe you guys both went to UNR up in Nevada. Maybe you both love Lake Tahoe or whatever. I want you to find something to connect with that client and bring that up. People like the connections, and it's a good thing to talk about. So find something to connect with, okay? And this can be easy, small, big. This is probably 5 minutes of just saying, oh yeah, I remember that you went to UNR. When'd you go? Blah, 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 blah. And connect with them because, again, they're people. They want to hire people, right? The next step in the day is to listen. So this kind of goes throughout the whole thing. Again, Just sit there, shut up, and listen. Don't just hear, right? You know the difference between hear and listen, but listen to what they're saying. Damn it, I'm at 10 minutes. Ugh. So just listen to them. Anything they say, listen, retain. Don't take active notes. I hate that when people do that. It feels like I'm being interviewed. But just kind of remember what they're saying and what they care about. This is not the time for you to tell them about what type of photography they need, they should do. This is more of just listen to them. Do they like candid photos? Do they not like candid photos? It's not your time to go, well, I like candid photos because. Listen. Listen. When it gives you a break to come in, then you can kind of come in. If they ask you a direct question, then it's time to come in. But just listen to them. So you're probably like 30 minutes into this, maybe 40 minutes into this. It's time to start the wrap up. They've kind of done talking, you've giggled, you've laughed, you're smiling still. This is a time to talk about you and your story. So I'll tell you my story on why I became a photographer, and maybe you can create something with this. This is also on my bio. But the reason I became a photographer was we were giving birth to one of our children. I was there, but I was not giving birth. My wife was. And my point and shoot broke. So I went to Best Buy on a little time that I had, and I had $400 to spend. So I went and bought an amazing DSLR camera. It was all right. It was a Sony A300. It started my career. I went home, horrible, taking pictures of bottles. It was crap. So I ended up Googling, YouTubing, and Flickring how to shoot better, and that started my career. Ultimately, I hated weddings when I first started because my clientele was, let's say, the lower price end. So I would be charging $300, $400, $500. And instead of me being able to shoot the way that I wanted to shoot, I was shooting based off of what they told me to shoot. It's weird that that people that spend the little money are more demanding than the people that have more trust in you that spend more money. And that's ultimately what it is. It's trust. If you don't charge enough, they don't think you know anything, and they feel like they're going to have to tell you what to do. Where if you charge higher and you can prove yourself, then they're just gonna be like, you do whatever you want to do, we trust you. So I hated weddings because of that. It wasn't until a wedding hired me and said, do what you want to do, and I was able to create amazing images that I started to love it again. And I've been doing it for 8 years. So that's my story. That's how I got into photography. We talk about our wedding as well, and how we did our wedding stuff. And we're going to renew our vows. And, you know, it's why I became a photographer. I truly love weddings. If I didn't, I wouldn't be in this industry. I want them to know that. I also want them to know that it's important to me that I get to book them as much as they get to book me. What is your story? What is it that makes you an amazing photographer? Let's not talk about your amazing photos. Let's talk about you as a person. Again, what is your story that you're going to tell them, and tell everybody when somebody asks you, why are you a photographer? Tell them your story. I learned this in network marketing. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, cool. I went back. The next thing I do, we're about 50 minutes in. The next thing I do is pricing. I pull out pricing. I talk about it fairly quick. Remember, they've already seen your pricing. I then pull out an 8 by 10 sheet of my pricing that's written in English, better form, really easy to read. I'm happy to go into my pricing, but that's not the point of this video, so that's why I didn't print anything out for it, because you guys charge what you charge, right? So what I do is I go over my pricing. I only have one package. I only have one rate. I don't have any other packages with it, because if you're going to hire me, you hire me for the entire day and you're invested into me. But you may have different packages, you may have different rates. So what I want you to do is then pull out your pricing and say, remember this, blah, and then they'll giggle. And usually ask the guy, I'm like, have you seen this before? Because the bride's always contacting me and he's like, yeah, I've seen it, or no, I haven't seen it. I'm like, cool. But know that since they're already there to see you, they understand your pricing, and that's not a sticker shock anymore. I hate sticker shock. Do not do that to your clients. Do not hide your prices and then show up with the pricing. Do not give them a different price and show up with a different pricing. You have a price. That's the price. Write it down. So you go over pricing, explain everything that's on there, what they get, what they should do, your honest opinion on what people buy, what people should do, and ask them if they have any questions. Pricing. Just go over pricing. They'll go over some questions, and then I learned this from Dave Ramsey, Zach and Jody, a whole bunch of people in my career. Close the meeting. I call myself a soft closer, even though I can be a hard closer. And what that means is A hard closer, you need the payment and the contract then, which if you have those ready and a way to accept it, have it ready. Get the contract signed right in front of them and do it. But the way you close a meeting is simple. You're going to ask them, based off everything we talked about today, is this what you're looking for? And then you shut up, right? I love this. I learned this from Zach and Jody. I've heard it a lot too, but they're the first people to do it. So credit Zach and Jody. But it's said in business, the next person to talk after that phrase loses. So, is this what you're looking for? And just shut up. If you've done everything correctly, if the pricing's right, if everything worked out, then basically they're going to look at that and say, yeah, this is exactly what we're looking for. And then you go, great, here's the contract, here's a payment. But if they're quiet for a second and then you go, well, I can totally like discount this and then you start to lose. Then they start to go, oh my God, this is something weird is happening, right? Something's weird is happening. So remember that phrase, use it every day, use it for everything. Is this something you're looking for? And just be quiet. They want to book you. Let them book you. Get the contract, get the retainer. No wedding is booked with me unless there's a contract and a retainer. Everything's filled out, everything's done. That's when I get to start my process. Once you book them, it's super exciting. We're gonna thank them. We're going to do high fives. We're gonna add them to Facebook. We're going to be their friends. We're gonna stay in their lives. We're not gonna sign them and then show up at the wedding, okay? So you guys, the next videos are gonna be continuing of this. It'll be number 3, and we'll start to talk about my workflow and what we do for our clients up into the wedding and then after the wedding, because we're not gonna sign our client and then not see them until the wedding. Horrible, horrible, horrible. We're not gonna ask stupid questions like what time's your ceremony the day before the wedding? Where is it at? We're gonna know all this stuff before, and we're gonna help our clients more than any other vendor on their team, because we're gonna become their friends and we are gonna show them that they've invested $3,500, $4,000 into an amazing, amazing photographer and person. Thank you guys for checking this out. Please, again, let me know what you thought of this. Sorry, this was a long video, and I kind of like this idea of just kind of talking through it. I do a lot of these one-on-one mentorships with people, so I thought I would just kind of film it and kind of go through it. Let me know if you have any questions. If I missed anything, I will do a 2.5 if I need to. Bye. Slayton, Slayton.com.